The signed CDs may have been the grand finale, but I think Taylor Swift is coming back for an encore and releasing one more thing before the album comes out.
If this album is about her final act of reinventing herself, the last act as the showgirl, where she is shedding the life of a showgirl and stepping into being her authentic self, she signaled us moving into this era by stepping through the Karma door on the Eras Tour on the last night, taking us backstage.
And while there are different images, Taylor is touching this one, drawing our attention to it. Zoomed in, this is what it looks like.
This is a Taylor Swift news alert you don't want to miss. Check out everything that happened recently in this video.
The signed CDs may have been the grand finale, but I think Taylor Swift is coming back for an encore and releasing one more thing before the album comes out. We all know that Taylor Swift was saying that she was saving the best tricks for the grand finale. One of those was the Target exclusive vinyl, and today were the 4 versions of the signed CDs. Taylor Nation made it very clear that it was almost time for the grand finale. They tweeted this 3 hours before the CDs came out, and then 2 hours before they said, "We guarantee applause after our showgirl's next trick." When the signed CDs were released, they said this is going to be a tough act to follow. This is not sitting right with me because this to me says that there's another act after this and they don't know how it's going to fare. And just like at a show, when a showgirl leaves, after all of the applause, a showgirl comes back on for an encore. One more act that is going to be hard to follow this, but they're gonna try it anyways. And the encore is always the best for last. I think Taylor Swift has one more final trick up her sleeve. I mean, we have 1 week left until the album comes out. Signed vinyls, an exclusive piece of merch, something else, and something big. And if it doesn't happen, I'm a clown, but this is so suspicious, I had to bring it up. Let me know what you guys think over in the comments because she's not done. She has something else.
Is this why there wasn't a debut era on the Eras Tour? Her first reinvented version of herself was Fearless. If this album is about her final act of reinventing herself, the last act as the showgirl, where she is shedding the life of a showgirl and stepping into being her authentic self, now that she is at a place in her career where she cannot be replaced. And I also received this comment: shed the eras like a snake sheds their skin. 2025 is the year of the snake. If this is the grand finale for the life of a showgirl, where she is leading us backstage, it makes perfect sense. She signaled us moving into this era by stepping through the Karma door on the Eras Tour on the last night, taking us backstage. What if this album is the stop before we get fully behind the curtain, behind the stage? This is giving us the story, the backstory of all of these eras of her reinventing, her being the showgirl, which is what leads me to believe that there's something else coming after this, like a documentary or a film of some sort that lets us in deeper behind the scenes of all of these eras, not just this one, because she now owns all of her life's work, all of the tour footage, all of the photos, all of the behind the scenes, all of the music videos, everything. So she can actually let us in if she wanted to, and maybe that's what she's doing. And like we've seen, all the rumors are swirling from the press saying that this is going to be her biggest album rollout yet. She's going to be everywhere. There's a lot in store for us. I just think that maybe we are getting the full story of Taylor Swift as we know her before we get to meet her again for TS13. And I also have to say, I feel like even the way she's promoted and introduced this album is almost a hint at TS13. If this theory is correct, hold on, because before we stepped into the elaborate production of it all with all of these photo shoots and these glamorous photos and album covers and vinyl variants and the glitter countdowns and everything, we had her on the podcast where she was just sitting and talking kind of in a way that we've never really seen her do before. Maybe that's more of a hint at what's to come next. That this album comes first. It shows us the life of a showgirl, the performance of it all, before she sheds it and steps into being Taylor Swift the person and really reintroduces herself to us. I think it's a cool theory. Obviously, it might be wrong, but it's fun to speculate and we shall see. Let me know what you think.
All right, you guys know I only do a second video on the same subject if the tea is hot, and the tea is hot. Let's talk about it. So once we got on my live stream and we were all collectively talking and we got done freaking out about how freaking hot she looks, we noticed 2 important things. The first being that this was the crop that Taylor shared on her Instagram. In this cropped image, there are 6 frames. And while there are different images, Taylor is touching this one, drawing our attention to it. Zoomed in, this is what it looks like. Someone then pointed out how almost identical it looks to the Reputation photo. They then went ahead to do an overlay, overlapping the 2 images together, and look how eerily similar these are. Now, I mentioned that Taylor posted the crop version to her Instagram because shortly after on Twitter, Taylor Nation then posted the full image, which then had these 2 new frames on the left. And if you go ahead and zoom in on this one right here, you're going to notice 2 exit signs, and the bottom one looks like there's some type of sparkle or something coming out of it. And we have been absolutely no stranger to these exit signs this era already. In the video we had of Taylor last week, we had 2, and the camera shook a little to make sure that you saw both in the frame. And then we also had this little exit sign that everyone found hidden in one of the variants. In the past few weeks, we have had one too many exit signs and one too many reputation coincidences. Something is coming for this big grand finale. We don't know what it is yet. SBI, let's get to work.
We need to ask ourselves why that location is still TBD. Why announce something without a location? Last year we had the Torture Poets Department Spotify library installation. When they announced it, they gave us the location, the grove, and the date. Solar Nation reposted it, reiterating 10 to 9, April 16 through the 18th, at the grove. And this year all we got was the city and the dates. Why not give the location unless the location is directly impacted by an announcement that is going to happen prior to this? A day before the installation starts, September 28th, is National Broadway Musicals Day. And of course, they picked New York City, because what if we are getting an announcement and the pop-up location is going to be somewhere near Broadway? There is so much speculation that The Life of a Showgirl is a soundtrack to a musical. And must I point out again, Female Rage the Musical has been trademarked. We know that we're getting another act. Could it possibly be an announcement regarding Female Rage the Musical? And what better day to do it than National Broadway Musicals Day? If you have any other logical reasons why we don't have a location with the announcements, drop them in the comments. Let me know what you think. Have a wonderful Sunday.
You guys, look at what Madness Made for Me Lilith figured out. So she figured out that each of the Life of the Showgirl variants corresponds to each of the rooms in the Lover House, and we just now have the attic reputation ready for something. Rep Vault tracks, Reputation Taylor's version. Madness Made for Me Lilith is tagged in this post, so go and check out her video that she made on this, and then she also has a bunch of other really good, insightful Taylor Swift videos. Okay, total side note. I made a post earlier today about how I believe we will get a drop of signed The Life of the Showgirl vinyls, but now I'm wondering if there could even be a possibility that we get signed versions of the different variants. Or she might do what she did with the CDs, where it's more of an insert, but it's on different photos again. But I would love to see signed versions of the variants. So let me know in the comments what you think of this great discovery that was made by Madness Made for Me Lilith, and if you think that there's a chance we might get signed vinyl variants.
Ask them the question you want to ask them.
That question?
Yeah, that question.
In the playbook,
Okay.
do you guys have passing plays?
Oh, no. The other question.
What was the other question?
We just talked about it. He wants to meet Taylor.
He wants to meet Taylor?
Yeah.
Get in line, buddy.
Sometimes not everyone's nice, but she's really nice. It's just nice to see someone at the top of their game just being grounded and lovely, you know? Yeah. Internet is so cruel. It just made me want to like be in there and like start a fan account and be like, shut up about her. You don't know. Yeah. She's so nice.
So I couldn't let this weekend go by without releasing at least one more video before we head into this insane week of A Life of a Showgirl. Because we need to talk about a new showgirl theory, which I think fans are onto, and that is the 4th act. Shout out to the Swiftie sleuthers for looking into every detail, and we'll see if it pans out. Stay tuned for more. And if you missed what some country stars had to say about Taylor recently, check out this next video.